Welcome back, Star Fam, to another exciting episode of Anonymite's Basement. I am Anonymite. This is my basement. You might not know it, because this fancy thing that's actually green. It's fucking green. Can you believe it? I can't. Okay, yeah, I can. First off, before we get into all the real tangible, tasty treats that are waiting around the corner in 315, I want to say a couple of things to the group here really quickly. To everybody at Ghostknife, it's happening. It's happening. Steady growth, interesting things on the horizon, and a whole lot of camaraderie in between. You're making this guy super happy to be a part of this, and I want to thank you all personally. Now, let's get into the good stuff. 315 brings a treasure trove of awesome sauce. There's gameplay tweaks, there are new locations, there are new ships, there are new AI and different behaviors that have been implemented. There's new weapons and items to be used. There's whole gameplay loops that have just begun to open up, and they are looking totally promising. The most exciting thing for me as a Star Citizen backer and a Star Citizen fan is seeing the incremental progress from each and every update. Every update seems to have a little bit more. I know 314 felt light, but there were some major changes to the game in 314 that are setting the stage for the future implements that are in the pipeline, and right now we're getting to reap some of those rewards, even just in terms of balancing. So without further ado, we're going to talk about, right out of the gate, the gameplay changes that you can expect in 315. Now this is going to be a top-down look. This is not going to be an in-depth look. There are plenty of other YouTubers that do that. This is to catch you up, Cole's Notes version, and get you dialed in, get that hype up a little bit, right? So people that aren't like me, that don't have way too much time to watch all the things. So the gameplay changes that I think are going to be most exciting for everybody in the org here, there are some I'm going to leave out. Physical and local inventory support. This is a big change. This is going to change basically the way that you approach your missions, the way that you prep for your missions and operations, or even just an outing and going to, say, Daymar and taking out a couple of vehicles to rip around for a little bit. There are going to be some more decisions that you're going to have to make that are going to have long-lasting and immediate consequences. Inventories are centralized in 3 different ways. You have a player inventory, you have a ship inventory or a vehicle inventory, and then you have the planetary or local area inventory to draw from. Now in reverse order, that would be this largest to smallest. So obviously the planetary local inventory has the most amount of storage. Your ship or vehicle has the second greatest amount, and of course on your person is whatever armor you're carrying is going to allow you to carry X amount of objects or items. And those localized inventories are going to be, as its name suggests, they're going to be fixed. So if you have a particular assault rifle that you love using all the time and it's in your Crusader inventory, you're going to have to go there to get it to take it on a mission. And of course that brings me to some unforeseen consequences. Looting. Looting is going to be officially in Star Citizen in Alpha 315. So let's go back to that little hypothetical here. You went back for that assault rifle in Crusader. You're going to bring it with you to Hurston because you're going to start grinding out Hurston dynamics, or sorry, Hurston security reputations. Well, if you're interdicted, or if you crash into an asteroid or any of these things on the way to your destination, you don't get to that destination and drop that rifle in that inventory in Hurston now. It's gone. It is gone. Somebody's totally going to be able to come and scoop that up. You might be able to if you can return there in time before another player does. This is adding consequences to all of our actions, to all of our misdeeds and unfortunate things that are happening. And with this persistence wipe that comes with 315, which is holistic, you're going to be reset to your default AUEC, which is for most people I think about 5,000. Your pledge items and ships. So any of the in-game ships that you've purchased won't be there for to bolster your fleet, won't be there to help you out and make and grind credits when 315 launches. You're going to lose your armor. You're going to lose everything. You're gonna lose anything that you didn't pay real money for or upgrade from on the RSI store. Say goodbye. But that's okay. This is what being in an organization grants us. A really big leg up on making some serious dough out of the gate, getting back out there, getting on our feet, and of course buying a whole bunch of other stuff with in-game credits. So the Asset Manager and Mobilglass app. This is going to get some major overhauls. It's going to allow us to keep way better track of our inventory, and there's going to be some update-specific implements that are geared specifically to loot, drag and drop between different containers. They're trying to make this as streamlined as possible, but we know all things alpha, very rarely do they go according to plan. So I would imagine there will be times where you go to move a very particular item that you want to hang on to, and it gets lost in translation. There's still many iterations of this. Loot generation has been dubbed as tier 0, so it's still not where they want it to be. But it does implement the system, and it generates containers throughout the PU, crates, lockers, boxes on bodies, that kind of stuff. It's been classified as dynamically populated randomized loot, so you have a chance, depending on where you are, depending on the person that maybe you have just downed. There's chances built into that as to what that character can possibly generate for you, that NPC. FPS radar and scanning. This is a big one. As a foot soldier, for instance, or someone that's trying to do an infiltration mission, you're going to have a lot easier time knowing where things are around you. But of course, with radar and scanning, you are giving your location away, so use them pretty wisely. Personal inventory, healing tier 0. This is so everything that includes getting this gameplay mechanic up and running is in 3.15. This initial implementation is supposed to be pretty dynamic. It's supposed to have quite a few things to it, quite a few interesting things to get used to. Brings with it some drugs, some medications to get downed players back on their feet in the field, which will be kind of a temporary salve, if you will, for a bullet wound, right? You have to deal with that injury down the road, or your health will start to decrease over time the longer you ignore it. And of course, that's where the hospitals and med stations and true med bays come into play. Things like the Carrick are going to come invaluable. Cutlass Reds, for instance. But there has been some changes to spawn beds that I just learned about last night, and thanks to Agathon for this one. You won't be able to use respawn beds in Cutlass Reds anymore. Only ships with full med bays. So while we had this kind of idea that we could use these as like spawn closets for ourselves in upcoming missions, Cutlass Reds that is, that's not going to be the case. So we know there's going to be lots more changes like this in the pipeline where we think X, Y, and Z is going to come to fruition, and instead of that little chunk of the alphabet, they're giving us weird algebraic symbols instead. You know what I'm saying. Bombs, so Moabs are going to be pretty interesting to see see how much damage these things can really dish out. And for things like storming fortifications or storming different habs and stuff like that, planet side, this is going to be bring a fun set of tactics to the field, and I think really add some interesting dynamism to the experience. I mean, you're going to be able to do not only just strafing runs and things of that nature, but you're going to be able to carpet bomb. Like, how cool is that? It's going to be nice to see the M2 get its fair shake in this one. NPC Healing is also in. So this is going to allow downed or injured NPCs to help each other or themselves, get back on the feet with a med pen, and they will be, of course, coming back at you. Ships and vehicles, there are some really awesome ones coming. If you have been around Star Citizen, the project, for a number of years, you've heard about the Aegis Redeemer. Now, the Redeemer was one of a few ships that went to the community in sort of a design the next great Star Citizen ship contest. And the Redeemer was the clear chosen victor of that particular round. And it was originally made to be a drop ship. However, over some iterations and that being kind of put on the back burner, taken off and fiddled with to meet the balancing that's required for this game, because we can't have just one OP ship that everyone's going to want to buy. It's going to suck, because every time you run into somebody, they're going to be in that ship. That would suck. You feel me? Okay. But with these different passes, and I believe this is coming up to the gold standard now, the Aegis Redeemer is a gunship with dropship capabilities. It's supposed to be modular, but it's a beast of a ship. And if you're looking at pledging for something new and interesting, this has got a heavy price tag. but boy howdy, it's going to kick ass. Crusader A2 is going to be in all the tasks and design art and all that kind of stuff is something to finish for this, so that's going to be ready to go. For myself, selfishly here, I'm super excited about the Crusader Aries Starfighters that are coming out. If you're unaware what those are, holy shit, let me blow your mind for a second. Grab a seat. So, anti-capital ship fighters. You heard me right. The Idris ain't got shit on this duo. So there's the Crusader Aries Ion, there's the Crusader Aries Inferno. The Ion itself is a shield buster for capital ships. It is meant to just chew through those shields right away and start dealing some fire to the hull. Now the Inferno is going to have crazy large ballistic rounds, meant for punching holes in that armor once that ship is down. Together in tandem, these two starfighters are just supposed to cheese grater Idrises and capital ships. So it'll be really interesting to see how Ghostknife fares now against fleet battles, because we're going to have some more tools at our disposal. It won't just be capital ship versus capital ship anymore, or larger ship versus larger ship. We're going to have some tools for the task, and that to me is really exciting. Some of the new weapons and items that will be implemented, the Grey Cat multi-tool healing attachment. So that's the I guess just general, everybody can go buy one type deal, strap it to your hip, and you can get somebody back on the feet. You might be able to administer yourself. I'm not sure how that's going to work yet. There's a Cure Life medical tool, which looks to be a larger, more role-tailored item, as in like more like a rifle would be, as opposed to that pistol-shaped multi-tool. So this is your item while you're in combat. You're specifically there to get people back on their feet and get them back in the game. Let's see, we've got some new ship cannons that are coming out. Bearing just is releasing a laser autocannon and a ballistic Gatling gun, and it's kind of hard to see what those are going to look like, but those are both the 7 size variants for the respective Crusaders Aries starfighters. The laser autocannon is the ship shield shitter? I don't know. Ship shield chewer upper. And the ballistic Gatling size 7 is for the Aries Inferno. So really exciting stuff. That's most of the big really exciting things. Horizon version 2 or Orison version 2, I don't know, I think that's how you say it, Orison version 2 is it's going to be a better polish. It's going to be run a little bit more smoothly for you when you're approaching or leaving the station for the first time. And it's also going to be getting a new hospital alongside New Babbage. So there'll be 2 planet-side hospitals that'll be able to get you 100% restored back to your tip-top Star Citizen-y self. But there will be the Hurston and Area 18, and I believe I'm missing one. But there's other hospitals coming in later updates. I still haven't heard anything about ship names. This is driving me bonkers. Like, I gotta secure my ship names. Gah.